Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be showing you how to work with the checkbox component in QML. It's a cute quick controls component, right? And as the name suggests, it's a checkbox to check whether an item is let me show you, right? So first let's make a simple rectangle to fill the background with some color. Let's say the color is AAA, slightly grayish, slightly whitish, right? Let's see. After that, this is our checkbox component. The B should be capital, right? Checkbox, yeah. First, let's see. Yes, slightly grayish. Now, checkbox has a text component, so you can say whatever you want. Like, let's say, do you agree? So, if the user clicks on it, he agrees to our condition, right? Let's see. Yeah, if I click on it, it's ticked. If I click on it again, it's unchecked. Checked, unchecked. Checked, unchecked. If I click on it again, it's checked, unchecked. Checked, unchecked. Right now, let's bring it to the center. I'll say anchors dot center in parent, so it's visible. Now, what if I want it to be checked by default? So I have a property called check state, and it will be q dot checked. Now, where did I get this? So just click on checkbox, press F1 on your keyboard. You will see all the properties. Here there is a property called check state. It has three values: q dot unchecked, q dot partially checked, q dot checked. So as you know, checked means initially if you run the application, it will be checked by default. Let's see. Unchecked means it will not be checked by default, and partially checked, I'll show you what this is. But first, let's see. Now the application will be checked by default. As you see, it's checked by default, right? Now, partially checked means there will be a hyphen. This is useful when you want to show a list of items and the user checks some of them but does not check others, right? So in a way, it's like partially checked. Yeah, this is a partially checked symbol. If you click again, it's fully checked. If you click again, it's unchecked. But now if you see, it's again full. Now it's empty. Now it's full. It's empty. But the partial thing is lost. Let's run again and see. It's partial. Now it's full. Now it's empty. Again it's full. It's empty. So partial is lost. So if you want to have three states in your checkbox, there is a property called try state. If you set it to true, then the checkbox will have three states. One is full, one is empty, one is partial. Right? So let's see. Now it's partial, full, empty, partial, full, empty, partial, full, empty. Right? Now, if I want some other component, let's say a text component, and if I want to see if this checkbox is checked or not, let me give it some ID. Let's say give some ID of let's say checkbox. Wow, so original. Anyway, let me say we give it some text of checkbox. Okay, let me give it a conditional text. So I'll say checkbox dot. It has a property called checked. This is true if you fully check it, right? Not partial, not empty, but fully check it. It will be true. So I'll say user agrees. Otherwise, I'll say user doesn't agree. Right? Let's see it in action. Okay, it's building. Now let's see. Here, okay, let me bring it a bit down and increase the size. As a font.point size 40 and anchors of horizontal select parent dot, and I'll say anchors dot top parent dot top, and I'll give some top margin. I hope you are not confused with how anchoring works, right? We have made I made a great video on that. You can watch it and it will be very clear to you, like picture perfect clear to you, like what I'm doing right now. I'm bringing it to the top, right? The text to the top. Yeah. Now if you click on it, user agrees because it's fully checked. User does not agree because it's not checked. Again partial, so user does not agree, no user agrees, right? So if I want to check for partiality, if you see there is no such property called partial, right? Or let's say partial, there is no such property. So for that, what you can do is you can directly check this value. So I'll say checkbox dot check state equal to, or you can use triple equal to in JavaScript. I'll say double equal to, both are fine. Triple equal to strict checking, right? So I'll say partially checked. If the state is partially checked, then say user partially agrees. Otherwise, let's say user doesn't. Oh, okay, this actually doesn't make sense. But anyway, I hope you get me right. Don't actually search for the meaning here. We're just checking if it's partial or not. See, it's partial now, so user partially agrees, doesn't agree, partially agrees. So that's all for checkboxes. Now, if we want to customize it, how can we do that? So for customizing checkbox, it's a nightmare. Like you cannot really do anything much. I'll show you what you can do actually. Like there are two properties which you can change. One is the color of the checkbox. So you can do material.accent. I hope you remember this thing, right? In the previous video we did that. And the other thing is you can set the point size to 40. This will only change the text size, not the rectangle size or the checkbox size. This will only change the text size, and this color will change the rectangle's color, not the text color. So in a way, yeah, if you see, this size changed and this color changed, but you cannot change both, right? So yeah, it's very problematic. Like you have to, if you want to modify it, it's very difficult. Like there are not many like things you can do. So there are two ways of doing that. One is if you go here, copy all of this code, make your own QML file, and then paste all of that code, right? And make modifications to the width, height, and stuff, right? I'll show you that if I have time, but that is not a very good way. Like it's very difficult and not really very rewarding. I'll show you the easier way to do that, right? So an easier way to do that is to make your own checkbox. Now, don't be frightened. It's very simple. What is a checkbox? Let's see. So I'll bring my cursor here. Okay, just give me a minute. Yeah. So a checkbox is nothing but a rectangle here and some text here, right? It's a text here. And if I click on it, an image appears. If I will click on it, this image disappears, right? So it's basically a text, a rectangle, and this thing is nothing but a row because the elements are side by side. And it's so simple. Like let me code it for you. I'll just remove this so you won't be distracted, and then I'll make a row. First there is a rectangle, right? After that there is a text, or you can use a label. I'm making a text because let's make it very simple. So do you agree, right? And let's change the point size to 30 or 40. 30, yeah, seems good. Let's give some width and height. So I'll say height is 80, width is same as height, and let's give it some color of, okay, let's say transparent because that was also transparent, right? But if we do that, the rectangle will not be visible because it's not visible. See, the color is transparent. So let's give it some border. Rectangle has a border property. So border dot width is nothing but how thick the border will be, and border dot color is what color it will look. So let me say green. So it will be 4 inches thick and it will be green. Let's see how it looks right now. Okay, for row, I forgot to use some spacing of 20. Checkbox is not defined. Okay, let's comment it out for now. Obviously, this ID is not here because we commented it out. Right. And let's center the row in the window. So I'll say anchors.center in parent, and I simply give it some spacing to space this rectangle and this text. Right. Now let's see. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, as you can see, this is a bit upward, like compared to the rectangle. So if you want to bring them or align them vertically, so I'll say anchors dot vertical center is parent dot vertical center. I'll show you why I did that, right? But I hope you remember this property, right? Let's first see it running. and then I'll show you why I did that, like why I implemented vertical set. Yeah, as you can see, they're centrally aligned. Yeah. Now what happened actually? Let me show you. So this was a big rectangle. This was a text, like let's say colors, right? This is the text. This is a rectangle, and the entire thing is a row. This is the vertical center of the row. I'm saying this rectangle's vertical center and this row's vertical center will be equal. So the rectangle will be moved a bit down, and this color's vertical center will be here, so it will be moved up. So in a way, they're both aligned vertically. Right, their center is aligned vertically. So this is how why we did anchors dot vertical center, because if this is the height, this is the center of the height. If this was the width, this is the horizontal center, right? So don't get confused. Now I hope you got that, right? Now the only remaining thing left is if I click on it, an image should be there, right? So if I click on it, then image should be there, which shows a check symbol. So inside the rectangle, we should have an image, and also rectangle does not have a single symbol. Sorry, the rectangle does not have a signal for clicked. Right, there is no on-click signal for rectangle, if you remember. So for that, to overcome that, we have something called mouse area, right? So I'll say anchors dot fill parent. So the mouse area completely covers the rectangle, and there is a signal for on clicked for a mouse area. Now what I'll do is, let me give it an ID for the image. So I'll say img and give it some source. Now I can download the image, right? But I'm a bit lazy. So what I'll do is, I'll say checkbox, and it has some image inside it, right? Let's copy that. Yeah, this is the image. So I'll copy the source because I'm lazy, and I'll paste the source here, right? Now let's center it in the rectangle. So I'll say anchors dot center in parent. So it's in the center of the rectangle, the check symbol. Now let's see. Now this will be shown, but we have to handle the on-click signal. So if I click on it, it will not be, it should not be visible. And like if this is okay, there is a property called visible, right? So initially let's set it to false, so we won't see the image initially. Now if I click on it, if it's not visible, make it visible, and if it's visible, hide it. So how can I toggle that? So what I'll do is, I'll see img or this image visible and set it to not image visible. Oh my god. Yeah. Now I hope you are not getting confused. What this not does is, it actually makes it's actually a logical not. So whatever is this value, it will be the opposite of that. So if it's true, something which is not true is false, so this will become false. And if this is false, something which is not false is true, so this will become true. So it toggles the value. Let's see it in action. Yeah, as you can see, we're done. This is basically a checkbox, right? And we can customize it in any way we want, right? So you can copy all of this and make a new QML file and paste it there, right? I'll show you that, like, but anyway, because in a small project we can also do it in this way, in a single file. But yeah, so what's left is, yeah, I'll show you one more thing. I'll make a property bool is checked and set it to false. So initially this will not be checked, and this is what is a property. It's basically a variable. Like if you know programming languages, you know what is a variable, right? A variable int x or int y or boolean z or something. So this is also a variable, and since this is in the root, so any component can access this variable, right? Now I'll change this visible to be, instead of false, it will be is checked. So this is binded with this check. So if we change this, the image visibility will also change. If we set it to true, this image visibility will be true, so it will be visible. If we set it to false, the image will be hidden because this visible will be false. So we have binded it. Now here, instead of changing the image visibility, we'll change this checked value. If you run the application, you see the same thing. Are you not getting confused? So we have simply made a variable, right? You can also call it x. So we can say x is not x, and that's basically the same thing, right? We have just made a simple variable. Now, why I did that? So that here I can access it, right? Here I can say is checked, then user agrees, otherwise user does not agree. Like, see, it's very simple. Now we can also bring a third state. There have to be some more conditions in the on-click part, and we also need to have another image or change the source here, right? So it would have been a bit more complex, so I skipped it for this video. But if you have, or let's say we work on some other projects, or let's say we make a form later, there I'll show you how to work with it, right? So anyway, thank you for